Sister Wives star Meri Brown divorced husband Kody to help Robyn. Was that really the reason? Or was there a deeper reason?
I've had a lot of people say to me, "Why are you still there? He clearly doesn't love you."
Once upon a time. No relationship is perfect, and no one knows that better than Sister Wives star Meri Brown. Kody and his wives have been living a plural life since the early 90s. Meri and Kody met when he was just 21 and she was 19. The couple married just a few months after meeting, and Meri became the first and OG wife. She grew up in the polygamous lifestyle and believed she was meant to be in a polygamous marriage. He wasn't introduced to the lifestyle until his late teens when his father began pursuing a plural life of his own. But the complicated relationships and marital issues that have arisen over the years indicate that Kody may have married too young to properly manage a plural family. He was never able to focus on his first wife and build a solid foundation. He was rushing to become a polygamist, and because of this, the two never really learned how to just be alone together, and one of the underlying reasons that Meri ultimately decided to get a divorce.
You look back at yourself and you're like, no, that wasn't the best that I could have done.
Kody deceived. Even though Kody was the one to ask Meri's dad for permission to court her and marry her, he later claimed in a therapy session on an episode of Sister Wives that he felt tricked into marrying her. He claims everything happened too fast. During the session, Kody revealed, "Meri mourns the loss of what we had. I regret what we had. I didn't know who I was marrying. As things unfolded, I started to become troubled and bitter by the situation I was in.
We're family, but we're not acting married."
Kody might think Meri was concealing her personality to win him over, but in 2012, Kody wrote a memoir, Becoming Sister Wives: The Story of an Unconventional Marriage, adding in there that he believed Meri was his soulmate. So, which is it, Kody? Were you deceived, or was she your soulmate? It's hard to imagine that deep-seated resentment that Kody holds towards Meri only emerged after the two got divorced, and wasn't already bubbling to the surface before they signed the papers. Expanding the family. Meri was gung-ho about starting plural marriage. As we mentioned before, she grew up with it, so she was familiar with the lifestyle. 3 years into Meri and Kody's marriage, enter Janelle. Janelle and Kody's wedding came on the heels of her divorce from Meri's brother. They were friendly before entering into a spiritual marriage. Meri admits that there was some jealousy in expanding the family, and the dynamic shifted when they chose to bring in second wife Janelle and then a third wife, Christine.
I actually had a harder time when Christine came.
Things really get rocky when they decide to bring in the fourth and final wife, Robyn. And that brings us to Matchmaker Meri. Meri was very open about how she was the one who sought out fourth wife Robyn. In the family's book, Becoming Sister Wives, Meri admits to playing matchmaker for Kody and all of the wives, actually. They were even at an event when she encouraged Kody to ask Robyn to dance, and the rest was history. Meri and Robyn were friendly before her courtship with Kody. She was excited to add Robyn to their family. However, once Kody and Robyn's relationship became more serious, Meri has an uh-oh, what have I done moment, and her feelings toward Robyn changed, and she became unhappy. Meri shared her feelings in the book Becoming Sister Wives, writing, "At first, the three of us had a wonderful friendship. I had been instrumental in bringing Robyn and Kody together, and now I wasn't needed anymore."
Yep, I'm there.
Meri admits that the introduction of Robyn threatened the love that she and Kody shared. Meri'd and Divorced. We can't talk about all the other reasons Meri might have divorced Kody without talking about the narrative the family is going with, because there is a slight possibility that it really is the real reason. So the story goes. After being Kody's only legal wife for 24 years, Meri signed divorce papers to allow her husband to legally marry Robyn and adopt her 3 kids from her previous marriage. Due to Nevada state law, it is illegal to have more than one marriage. According to Meri, because polygamy is looked down upon as a questionable choice of how to organize your family, she doubted they would be qualified to adopt Robyn's children without giving up her spot as the legal wife. Essentially, Meri swapped places with Robyn and became spiritually married to Kody. Meri's whole reasoning behind it was mainly for the kids.
It's not about me, it's about the kids, and that's what makes me happy.
And not necessarily so Robyn could take the throne as #1 wife to Kody and kick her to the curb emotionally. Whoops. Do you like me now? Fans have speculated if there was more behind the divorce than just the adoption. Could it be that Meri divorced Kody to get him to love her more, but it just didn't go the way she intended? Could it be that she relinquished her spot as the only legal wife to prove her loyalty and love to Kody and the other wives? Historically, Meri has been all in with their plural marriage, doing everything she can to abide by Kody's rules, not make waves and make him happy.
If he wants to give me a list of rules, I will follow those.
Could she be trying to showcase that she's the best sister wife, but it just backfired in the long run?
I've been waiting for you, honestly.
And I'm not coming.
Fertility problems. But then there's the fact that fertility issues prevented Meri from having more biological children with Kody, unlike her sister wives Janelle and Christine, who each had 6 children with him. Meri thought surrogacy could be the solution to her hopes for another child, but Kody shot that down. Their struggles with infertility led to strain and jealousy in their relationship. Although Meri eventually accepted the situation, we can't rule out that it could be an underlying factor to her filing for divorce. Bed and breakfast and divorce. Meri Brown always had big dreams of opening her own bed and breakfast.
I want to open a bed and breakfast.
Initially, she wanted to buy her grandmother's home and turn it into a B&B. Kody refused to support her dream, claiming he couldn't afford to give Meri the $40,000 she asked for.
What value is this to us, even to Meri?
But that didn't stop her. In 2017, she paid the full $80,000 herself and has been running Lizzie's heritage in ever since. She even calls it her baby. Even though the purchase of the B&B came after the divorce, it's hard to believe she hadn't brought it up to Kody before 2017 if it was always her dream. Being divorced from Kody gave her the opportunity to move forward with what she always wanted to do without having to ask for permission. The catfish scandal. And then there's the catfish scandal. It caused a huge strain in the relationship. Meri met a man named Sam, who she met on Twitter. Their online relationship kicked off in March 2015. After 6 months of online communication, Meri's romance with Sam—
It wasn't a man. It was a woman pretending to be a man.
Meri claims that the divorce caused her to turn to the internet to find love. But the rumor mill suggests that Meri may have actually already been talking to Sam before the divorce. The scandal was too much for Kody to handle, and the patriarch of the family says it caused his marriage to Meri to dissolve. Meri, the scapegoat. Meri has always been the yes girl. She aims to please, and it became abundantly clear in the episodes during the pandemic that Robyn and Kody often take advantage of Meri's need to please by using her as a punching bag and scapegoat for their family's dysfunction. The long and short of it goes like this. Meri put in a lot of effort to abide by Kody's strict COVID rules, and even isolated herself the whole time.
Like, I live alone.
During a get-together with everyone, Meri jokes that Robyn made the rules.
You know those rules that you made up? I'm just...
Robyn gets mad, yells at Meri, Kody joins in on the yelling, and eventually Meri backs down and submits to Robyn and Kody.
I said it completely jokingly.
The ordeal definitely raised a red flag that this wasn't the first time Robyn and Kody ganged up on Meri. It makes fans wonder if Robyn and Kody pressured her into getting the legal divorce in the first place. Romance is over. In Meri's tell-all interview, she revealed that the catfishing scandal was not what put a strain on her relationship. She went on to insist that the intimacy had ended years before any of that happened.
But that's just not where we are.
But when did the physicality go out?
Maybe a decade.
If that is accurate, they stopped having a romantic relationship around 2010. Kody revealed that after a lot of counseling, he realized there wasn't anything left romantically between him and Meri.
I'm not going there.
Wife rotation saw Meri. Kody has explained how he divided his time between the wives before the pandemic hit. Kody said that he would spend 2 days with 3 of his 4 wives. He said he would spend 2 days with Janelle Brown, then 2 days with Robyn Brown, followed by 2 days with Christine Brown. The schedule would then repeat unless a special event came up. But wait a minute, where's Meri? Kody made it a point to say that Meri was not a part of the rotation because he did not spend evenings at her home.
You're just gonna pick and choose who you're gonna keep?
He emphasized that he and Meri are strictly friends. It's beginning to look like perhaps the divorce wasn't just so that Kody could adopt Robyn's kids. If the divorce was strictly for that reason, why would Kody ice her out like that? You would think he would be grateful to her and spending even more time with her to express his gratitude, right? But that hasn't been the case. Oh, okay, Kody, we see how it is. Mother-daughter tension. Meri and Kody Brown share one daughter together, 26-year-old Mariah. Despite the divorce, Kody and Meri seem to have a handle on co-parenting. Mariah has not spoken publicly about her parents' divorce. Though, things got tense between the mother and daughter when Meri's catfishing scandal came to light. It seems that things got better between the two. According to social media, it seems like Meri visits Mariah and her fiancé, Audrey Chris, frequently. Meri's relationship with Robyn's kids. You know, it really could be that Meri did it for the kids. She really does love Robyn's kids with all her heart.
They love her. When they see her, they just get really excited.
In an emotional scene, Meri is headed to Robyn's house for the first time in over 8 months because she spent the pandemic alone. When Meri knocked, the kids were confused. They didn't know if they were allowed to open the door. They found out they are allowed to hug her, and they all take turns hugging her in a very emotional and touching moment. There is no doubt that Meri would do anything to ensure those kids are happy and well taken care of, even if it means sacrificing her own happiness. Meri's cryptic messages. But before we go, we gotta talk about those cryptic messages, Meri. In July of 2021, she shared this post on Instagram. Sometimes it's just life. Sometimes you have to just learn something. Sometimes you're being fully manipulated and you know it. Don't worry, power stance is on. I'm brave, I'm strong, I'm courageous, and I will do this. What is she talking about when she says manipulated? Manipulated into what? Who manipulated you? We may never know.
Why do you stay?
Do you think Meri is telling the whole truth about her divorce with Kody? Let us know what you think in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe to The Things Reality for all the latest reality TV news and gossip.